Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mediocre and in this video I'll show you a Skyrim build that will end up looking like this. But first we have some work to do, let's get started. This build is deliberately divided into 3 phases, as each phase does something unique. The early game is focused on Conjuration and Stealth Archery, whereas the mid game elevates the power level of this build by using Alchemy and Enchanting. The late game raises an army of the dead consisting of anyone unlucky enough to die by our grubby little paws. It's gonna be fun, I promise. We begin our journey in Helgen. For this adventure, I found it fitting that I had a Khajiit who looked like this. Boy. During our daring escape, I focused on archery and sneaking. It's important that we also pick up the novice hood in Helgen. When returning topside, always check the Talos shrine for a free enchanted item and Thalmor robes. The next thing we should do is activate the Thieves Stone. We pick up the flawless emerald and then make our way to the waterfall. Flaming the leaping salmon is something a cat would totally do if they'd be able to, but it also gives us some salmon roe. Combining tundra cotton or red mountain flower with it will grant you an insane potion of Fortify Magicka. If you then make your way to Dragon's Reach, you can ask Farengar if he's the only mage in town. This prompts him to remember that he still owes Arcadia some alchemy supplies. Delivering those will result in a friendship between you and Arcadia, and you can now take her entire stock of ingredients up to a certain value. Not only that, she also rewards you with a potion of brief invisibility. She then confesses that she'll use the delivery we've made to make her a hypnol.
A love elixir like none other. Maybe I'll test it on Farengar first.
Boy. At this point, we can sell anything we found thus far. If we then help Carlotta out with a male suitor, which isn't that hard because of the Khajiit passive, she'll reward us with some cash. This should be enough to buy the Muffle and Soul Trap spell. Before we leave town, it's imperative that we give 1 gold piece to a homeless child for the gift of charity. Afterwards, we take a carriage to Riften and absolutely beat the shit out of the stable master. He'll be so impressed with your hands that we can now use his horses for free. Riften itself, however, is closed until you pass a speech check. Directly into town, we can see Shadder in a confrontation with Sapphire. If we help him out, he'll give us our second potion of invisibility. I appreciate your help. No problem. Does that mean that you still can't say it though? Understandable. The last thing we need to do is pay a visit to the orphanage. Directly to the south of Windhelm, we can find the Aetherial Stone. This gives us 50 more Magicka and absorbs 50% of spells, at the cost of Magicka regeneration. Now to the west of the Aetherial Stone, you can find a location called Fort Amol. This is the place where we'll find the most important spell of the early game. Once you've cleared out the entire courtyard, make your way to the prison section, and upon entering, immediately drink your potion of invisibility. If you then make your way to the western corner, you'll find the Bound Bow spell in a bucket. Keep in mind that interacting with anything will remove your invisibility effect, so down your next potion and get the f out of there. And this is how you get the equivalent of a Daedric bow at level 1. The last obstacle is that we don't have enough Magicka to cast it. This can be easily circumvented with the Alchemy recipe from earlier. If we then put some points into Magicka when we level up, we'll have solved that problem as well. At level 20 Conjuration, we can pick up the Mystic Binding perk as well for even more damage. Now I can hear you ask, why not play a high elf to have more Magicka at level 1? Which would be a fair question, but I rolled the Khajiit because how else am I going to convey that this build is in fact the cat's meow? So our weapon situation is sorted, but now we'll need some armor. To this end, we travel to Windhelm and pay a visit to Aventus Arantino. Because of our earlier escapades, we've already carried out the assassination plotline. If we then go to sleep, we can do the first quest for the Dark Brotherhood, which will land us with some enchanted light armor. You can switch out the Novice Hood with the Shrouded Cowl after casting Bound Bow for more archery damage. At this point, you're more than ready to tackle the first main quests, resulting in quite a bit of archery and sneak XP. When you kill your first dragon, you'll unlock Lydia as a follower, who does an adequate job of tanking, so you have all the space and time you need to miss your shots. You should have amassed enough wealth to buy a horse for yourself. This is also when our power leveling can start. For illusion levels, we can cast the muffle spell, and for conjuration, we spam soul trap on our horse. Since we own the horse, the law is on our side on this one. Now at some point, you'll reach level 14. The next time you visit a tavern after reaching this level, an NPC called Sam Gourven will spawn there. He'll give you the quest A Night to Remember. When you find Sam again at the end of the quest, he'll reward you with the Sanguine Rose, which spawns a Dremora Lord to fight on your behalf for 60 seconds. The duration can be increased with a potion of Fortified Conjuration. At this point, it's time to get rid of the Aetherial Stone, as the 50% spell absorption can absorb the Dremora Lord as well. The Mage's Stone is a worthy substitution. Your general combat loop should now look something like this. We're an army of 3, unstoppable, but not sustainable yet. Let's fix that. The Sanguine Rose doesn't require magicka or levels, but it does depend on soul charge. At level 30 Conjuration, you'll unlock the perk Soul Stealer, and this gives all bound weapons a soul trap effect. To really get the most out of this perk, we travel to Ancient Ascent. There will be a dragon mural where you can learn the first word of animal allegiance. This allows you to make mammoths turn on their giant overlords, and if you're fast enough, you can kill them as well, giving you a reliable way to farm grand souls without the risk. The best part of this is that you can take a little nibble of the giant stones when you're done. I suppose you could use it for alchemy too. One downside is that grand soul gems don't grow on trees, so the next step is to travel to Azura's shrine, where you can start the quest, the Black Star. The reward for this quest is either Azura's Star or the Black Star. Both serve as a soul gem that will not be consumed after usage, but from an efficiency standpoint, the Black Star is superior. We now have a sustainable way to get started on our enchanting training and keep the Sanguine Rose topped up. Our next goal is to acquire the Vulcan Dragon Mask, which can be found at the end of the High Gate ruins. This will help with power leveling, and it looks pretty sick. We now prioritize shedding the curse of homelessness, which is a lot easier in Skyrim than in real life. We travel to Morthal and help out with the vampire problem.
It's true, a traitorous bitch.
Afterwards, we are allowed to buy property in Morthal. This house is unique in the sense that it can host a fish hatchery, allowing us to multiply salmon, which will help with our alchemy journey. These recipes are essential to this build, and most of these ingredients can be grown in your garden at home. What's cool about the bound bow is that it for some reason allows for the poisoning of its ethereal arrows, which you can use for shenanigans such as these. And we're going to be needing all the help we can get, as the next part of this build is acquiring the Aetherial Crown, a potential reward for the quest Lost to the Ages. This quest can be started at, I don't even know how to pronounce this shit. At the end of this rune, you can find 1 of 4 ethereal shards. The rest can be found in the following locations. When all shards have been collected, you can access the Ethereum Forge, allowing you to create 1 of 3 items. The Aetherial Crown is absolutely the best, as this item allows for 2 standing stones to be applied at the same time. Utilizing both the Lovers and Guardian stones absolutely trivializes any training we have to do. We'll use this to get our enchanting, illusion and conjuration to level 100. At level 100 conjuration, we can unlock the perk Twin Souls. This makes it possible to conjure an additional being, and at level 90 illusion, you'll unlock Master of the Mind, which allows you to buff your conjurations as well. At the end of the mid game, we have an army of 4 that can be buffed at any time. It's looking good, but we can do even better in the late game. When reaching level 90 in any of the magic schools, you gain access to quests in the College of Winterhold to unlock its ultimate spell. For this build, we're interested in the Conjuration and Illusion one. Conjuration is quite easy, because all you have to do is BDSM and unbound Dremora into submission. The illusion is a bit more convoluted, as you'll need to locate 4 books that are hidden around the college. They can be found in the following locations. Upon completion of these quests, you are awarded with the Call to Arms spell, as well as the Flame Thrall. The Call to Arms spell gives a 10-minute buff to anyone in the vicinity of the Dragonborn upon casting. The Flame Thrall conjures a permanent Flame Atronach. We can now give a 10-minute buff to an army that is effectively unkillable. But there is one problem, it's too expensive to cast. This is why we've leveled Enchanting to 100. Because if the cumulative spell reduction of a skull exceeds 100%, the spell becomes free to cast. The extra effect perk ensures that we can put both Illusion and Conjuration on the same pieces of armor. If you don't have these enchantments yet, don't fret. You can just quick save, punch a shopkeeper in the face, and they'll have an entirely new stock when you quick load. Just like in real life probably. Keep in mind that you can rename your enchanted gear. So what I did was make one armor set for the spells and another one for ranged combat, having an easily discernible name for what it does. Now, this is the part where it all comes together. The Aetherial Crown allows 2 standing stones to be active at the same time, but removing the crown also removes this effect. Re-equipping it re-enables it. If we make our way to the Ritual Stone, we'll have the power to resurrect any dead NPC to fight for us for a while. This power is limited to once a day, but if we unequip and re-equip the crown, that limitation goes away. We are now basically the Night King from Game of Thrones, but with more swag. Boy. Before you conquer Skyrim in my name, let's go over our perks. The first perk we'll choose is Novice Conjuration. It does nothing since we don't use any Novice spells, but it will unlock Mystic Binding and Soul Stealer at level 20 and 30 respectively, for reasons we've already covered. We can then put a point in the Summoner perk, which helps with keeping stealth by raising the distance from which a summon can be made. Aethromancy increases the duration of the summons, and Necromancy does the same for undeads. Dark Souls is taken at level 80 because it's a reference to the best game ever, Dark Souls 2. Elemental Potency is a must at level 80. At level 100, we take Twin Souls because twinning is winning. Your end tally for Conjuration should look something like this. For Illusion, we take Novice Illusion at level 1 and Apprentice Illusion at level 25. This will help us cast a muffle spell more often during the early power leveling. At level 40, we unlock Animage and Kindred Mage for no other reason but to unlock Quiet Casting at level 50. This will help us with staying in stealth while casting spells. At level 90, we unlock Master of the Mind so we can rally our undead army. Illusion is also the skill you can use for power leveling. The Call to Arms spell in crowded locations gives a metric fuck-ton of experience. Enchanting has to be leveled to 100 so that we can take 5 points in Enchanter, 1 in Insightful, 1 in Corpus, and 1 point in Extra Effect. And this ensures that we'll be able to reach 100% spell reduction. Enchanting can be trained by buying materials for iron daggers and making them yourselves. You should then buy empty soul gems from any vendor you can find. You'll be passively filling them from the Soul Stealer perk and you'll still turn a profit. The Archery skill tree will be the source of most of our damage, as the Overdraw perk can double the damage done with the bound bow. Eagle Eye is chosen at level 30 to line up those classic cinematic archery shots. Additionally, we invest 1 point into critical shots so that we can unlock Hunter's Discipline, so that perk can unlock Ranger. Power Shot is taken at level 50 because a stagger has the capacity to change the outcome of a fight. Quick Shot at level 70 effectively increases your DPS output by 30%, and at level 100 we take the Bullseye perk so that we can do stuff like this. Investment in the archery skill tree is essential, as the bound bow cannot be enchanted or improved via smithing. The sneak tree is a bit more tame, as we only want deadly aim at level 40. The rest of its potency can be unlocked via enchantments rather than perk investments, as these points are needed elsewhere, such as the alchemy skill tree. In the end, we want 5 points in Alchemist, which requires level 80. This doubles the magnitude of any potion we make. Physician at level 20 boosts health restoration, and Benefactor at 30 helps with magnifying potions that provide buffs. Poisoner at level 30 makes your poisons more deadly, and Concentrated Poison at level 60 makes your victims twice as paralyzed. This build can be utilized at any stage of the game, but it becomes more complex as the game continues. At first, you'll mostly be spending your time on lining up those classic stealth archer shots. Then, you'll be spending some time micromanaging your Dremora Lords and your potions, which is still a very worthwhile endeavor because of the power spike it gives. Later in the game, most of your time will be spent on building your army of the dead. The only downside is that you lose most of them when you quick travel, so it loses some efficiency when you have to cover more ground, but it does really well in longer skirmishes in the same location, or when you have to make an example out of Nazim. And that's how you make the smartest build in Skyrim. If you've enjoyed your time with me today, why not subscribe to the channel and check out this video that YouTube thinks you'll really like. Or watch this video that I think you'll really like. If you want to help me out, share this video with your grandparents, do it now.